Welcome to another episode of Peralta Matters. I am your host, Jay Calhoun. This episode will be discussing the educational achievement gap facing young people of color. Statistically, the numbers are alarming, and the demand for action and results are at an all-time high. And the Peralta Colleges are dedicated to bridging that achievement gap. So, let's sit back and relax and get into what matters here at Peralta.
I'm Congresswoman Barbara Lee. Join me in watching Peralta TV.
Welcome back to Peralta Matters. We are now joined by Lasana Hotep, Interim Dean of Student Success and Equity, sir.
Hey, how you doing,
Welcome
Jay?
to the show, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Let's talk about first that long title and what you will be responsible for doing here at the colleges.
Yeah, the title is Interim Dean of Student Success and Equity. The interim part comes because right now it's an appointed position. It's a new position within the district.
Okay.
And so it's in its nascent stages and it haven't really been fully fleshed out, nor has it gone through the full process.
Channel, right?
Yeah. And so, but student success and equity is a response to the kind of environment we're in colleges now. And the environment is no longer just having open access and having people come through the doors, but it's about once they get through the doors, are they completing their certificate,
Right.
are they completing their associates, or are they transferring? And so in the state of California, legislation has said that we got to have a student success and support program. And all of our 4 Peralta campuses have sent student success and support program plans to the state, as well as equity plans.
Okay.
And one of my responsibilities is to make sure that the things that are working in the Peralta colleges, that we keep doing those things, if they're scalable, if we can duplicate them at all 4 colleges, as well as look at possible initiatives and new programs that we can implement towards student success.
We talked a little bit off camera. Who and what are you looking to help achieve these goals at the campuses?
Well, one of the aims of these kinds of programs, not just in the Peraltas or the state of California, but throughout the nation, is to close something that they call the achievement gap.
Right.
And so based on the data, it says that Black and Latino students complete or achieve success as students less than their white and Asian counterparts. And so these kinds of initiatives are looking towards those populations and targeting them. Now, typically the initiatives aren't exclusive. Anybody can participate in them, and any group or individual can participate, but there's an attempt to move the needle to be able to say what's working or what's not working in working with these particular populations, and how can we come up with systems and programs to ensure success as students.
Right. Do you think it's really a factor or even a matter for, and we talked a little bit about this, the full shift to get these students completed versus being here as an FTE or as just a counted number? We have to change the idea of what it means to go to a JC or even college in that matter.
It has to, the entire environment has to shift for a variety of reasons. We are in an era of accountability, and especially when it comes to dollars. And so when the federal government is putting caps on the amount of financial aid you can receive federally, when the state is looking at your grant dollars saying that if you're over 90 units, you're going to have to go and appeal for financial aid because you should have completed by then, or you should have transferred by then. So all of the initiatives are about accountability, and the institution is shifting to say, all right, now we have you in our doors. Where are we at on persistence, which means going semester to semester? Where are we at on retention, which is going from one academic year to the other year, and completion and or transfer? And so everything is shifting, the student services side, the academic affairs side, and this is a nationwide phenomenon now in colleges.
Right on. What do you think is the biggest challenge for the achievement gap with young men and women of color, specifically young men of color?
Well, the biggest challenge that I've seen in my work here in Peralta, and also I do consulting work across the nation, is that these kinds of initiatives are seen as side projects or special projects, and so they're not funded fully and they're not staffed fully. And so they typically say, hey, Jose, you're Latino. We're having some issues with the Latino guys.
Right.
Jose has no training in working with that population.
Right.
He just happened to be a member of that particular group.
Right.
Say, go work with them. Here's $20 and take them to a conference.
There you go.
And that's not going to change the initiative. This is a heavy lifting project. There's a reason why status quo is not working with these populations. And so it's an entire reorientation of the institution. It's an entire different allocation of resources to be able to support these populations that are not being successful based on the data.
And within, again, I think I touched on this earlier, you will be addressing these problems for campuses wide, not just as a district overall thing.
It'll be addressed on all 4 campuses. My vision is to have a program where we have faculty and counseling leads at each campus that make up the team that will be putting forth this effort. Because I'm not here, or my efforts are not in the spirit of some kind of guy with a cape. I'm about building teams and I'm about building systems, because not only is it about the work that's being built, but it's about sustainability. And things that are sustainable are beyond a personality or an individual. And so that's the kind of work that we have to do. But yes, it will be at all 4 campuses. We will have leadership at all 4 campuses. We have participation at all 4 campuses. And hopefully we will see the results of that.
Talk a little bit about the program that you want to implement to achieve these.
The program I'm looking to implement is called Peralta Scholars right now. And basically it's based off of a couple of other programs that I've done at other schools. I did, at one point in my career, I worked at Arizona State University, the largest 4-year institution in the country. And another iteration, I worked at a community college, which was a learning college called Estrella Mountain Community College. At both of those, I implemented success programs. At Arizona State, they were primarily for African American males. At Estrella Mountain, it was for Black and Latino students across the board. And basically the program says we have to have direct services towards these students, but it has to be some kind of incentive. So the students have to have something tied to them going to their tutoring. Something has to be tied to them meeting with their mentor. Something has to be tied to them meeting certain hallmarks or achievements, whether it's a summer bridge program, whether it's making sure that you met with your counselor to get your schedule or your SEP. All of these things have to be tied to it. So my vision is to create something where we can create an incentive for students to engage in those services. So it's kind of like this bizarre situation we're in, where we have to invest in students or to entice them for their own success. It's for them to be successful. These are all the different things we're going to do to help you be successful. And then at the end they say, oh, wow, it did help me.
But you wouldn't have
But I wasn't going to do it before then. I wasn't going to believe you until you give me an incentive. And so that's the program. That's the vision of it.
I think you kind of touched on it earlier. If there's no set structure, if it's just a fly-by-night or it's here today, gone tomorrow situation, there is no reason to invest in my future. But if it's something that's going to be concrete, something that's district-wide, something that's planned as a part of the apparatus as opposed to just some extra thing, I don't see how it can achieve the goals in which we're trying to achieve.
Yeah, well, one of the challenges and what the vision that I have and that I'm going to present to our communities is typically when we want to do these kinds of things, we go into small numbers. So we go to like learning communities. And learning communities are great for 30, 60, 90 students, 3 or 4 sections of a class. But when you talk about scalability, you're talking about thousands of students or even, let's say hundreds. It's going to take a different kind of format. And it takes you out of the learning community, which is a kind of a sanctuary. Puts them in the mainstream of all the services, but at the same time, you have to have some kind of incentive for them to be tied back to. And that's kind of where I'm trying to go differs from people who are trying to do learning communities or cohort-based things. But it's broader. These students are mainstream. They're with everybody else. They're taking their classes with everybody else, but they're part of a program that ties them directly to services.
That's all right. We support you, Lasana.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Jack.
All right. We'll be right back with more Peralta Matters.
Academic excellence on Peralta News.
I had not been in a classroom since I graduated 6th grade. Following my first semester at PCC, my family was evicted from our apartment. I thought we were moving around a lot before. Now we were moving around pretty frequently, like every month, 2 months or so. I would leave to go to school in the morning and home wouldn't be in the same place, when I came back. It just made me that much more dedicated to school. It was kind of the only thing I had control of. There were times I was eating like 1 muffin a day. The scholarships, it's not an exaggeration to say they saved my life, or at least made it phenomenally better. Prior to that, everything had been, I don't even know how to explain it. Everything was so stressful, it was hard to focus on anything. The scholarships helped me not worry about getting food. They helped me not worry about where I was going to stay. School became my rallying point, my way to change my circumstances. Community at BCC is so tight-knit. You know, we get to know each other very well. Faces become very familiar, and we kind of become invested in each other's success. And they constantly encouraged me and kept saying, you can do it, keep aiming higher and higher. And that helped pick me up, you know, whenever I was feeling down, whenever I felt like I'd run my last lap or thrown my last punch, you know. They said, no, you got more in you, keep it up, keep going. And that's, I think, it's crucial. It really is crucial. I would like to help underserved adolescents. Right now I'm studying psychology. I'm interested in going to grad school after this. The things we achieve are recognized, especially by this district and by others. This is the place to start, you know. The Peralta system makes things very accessible, makes things very possible, as you can see. And it can be done if you're willing to put in the work, if you're willing to try.
Thank you for watching Academic Excellence on Peralta News.
Welcome back to Peralta Matters. We are now joined by Kevin Sosa, trio student here at Laney College.
Hi,
Welcome to the show, man.
Doing good.
For those who don't know, let us, or give us a student's perspective of what trio is.
Okay. TRIO is essentially a student support services program that helps community college students and even students across the whole U.S. where they give them the tools necessary for their success in their educational career as an undergrad.
Okay.
So,
all right.
yeah.
That's a nice general broad stroke.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've been in the program a year now, right? Before you're entering the program, what was your aspirations? What were you doing? How were you aimlessly walking through the scholastic achievement process you were going through?
Okay. So last year, I entered Laney College. And I knew I wanted to transfer. That was initially like my plan.
Okay.
You know, I got the good grades that I needed from my first year, but I wanted to pretty much know a little bit more as to, you know, what are the steps necessary to transfer, you know. And so I ended up hearing about TRIO through my friends and also through advertisements that they have in the transfer center. And I'm like, okay, you know, why not? Let me just apply and see how it goes, you know, because I really needed the help. I really wanted to know. I needed some more guidance one-on-one time. And so I ended up applying, and I pretty much got a pretty good explanation and assistance on like how does the transfer process even works, you know. And so they really helped me do that. Because before I was just aimless.
So I mean, you clearly knew you wanted to transfer. You knew you wanted to go on. What do you think TRIO really put over the top that allowed you to make decisions as to four-year institutions or transferring?
Yeah. A lot of the things that TRIO offered were pretty much like the tools and the services that they gave me as a student in the program. They gave me one-on-one tutoring. They also gave me one-on-one assistance with academic counseling, opportunities for scholarships, you know, writing workshops, study workshops, and even, you know, through the school, they pretty much had the hookups with like all the colleges you can go and visit, you know, so it was great.
Do you, I mean, clearly, again, you could have gotten this information on your own and investigated and went some other route, but the fact that it was here for you while you're at Laney, while you're in the flow of just doing your automatic educational stuff anyway, do you think like that was the most beneficial way to kind of matriculate or put yourself back in the position of, okay, now I'm really ready to transfer to this four-year school, as opposed to, yeah, maybe I'll transfer some point in time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely with TRIO. I mean, yeah, as you said before, like any student can pretty much go and find out and venture out and find all the information and gather it together, you know. As opposed to being a student at TRIO, you know, you get handed these information and they tell you flat out like, hey, you know, these are the steps that you need to take to transfer if you really want to go this route, you know. So you're not, you know, just venturing out, looking on the internet or something. You're trying to find different ways.
I mean, even in that, could it be a little misguiding just doing on the internet versus TRIO's kind of explaining some of this hidden language?
Exactly. So TRIO pretty much goes in depth on like, to transfer you have to do the IGETC. However, you have to do major prerequisites as
Right,
well,
right.
and so that a lot of college students don't know that, and so TRIO pretty much puts that out there and explains it detail by detail.
Right on, right on. Talk a little bit about your experience with the people that work in TRIO and how, I mean, even in the environment, it helps better your transfer opportunities.
Yeah, definitely the environment with the faculty and staff within TRIO, definitely we're dedicated and we're really willing to help with anything that you wanted to do.
Right on.
It's like, oh, I'm applying for a job, can you help me out? And then they would help you.
Right,
oh,
right.
I need help in math. Let me go schedule, with the tutor that they have there. Same thing with science or any subject really. They really wanted to help you out, and they certainly helped me with my college, application and stuff.
Right.
They were definitely supportive with anything that I did, and I'm really grateful for that.
Right on. What would you say to first year Laney student not knowing exactly where they're going to go, they want to transfer but they don't know how to? What would you say to them?
I would definitely tell them to, one, go set up an appointment with the counselor. Two, try and find out what your interests are. Do you really like art? Do you really like finance? Do you really like engineering? Do you like making things? So that way they can start tailoring in what they want to do. At first, I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Right.
I thought of like some sociology major, or something like that.
Sounded good, right?
Right, it sounded good. And I'm like, okay, why not? Sure, But as soon as you start going into a little bit of, and your first year, it's okay if you don't know what you want to do.
Exactly.
It's totally fine. But then when you start taking these classes, you get a little bit of taste of everything. I think that's why they have, students do like multiple different areas of, subjects, because they know probably like the first year college students don't really know what they want to take. I've been there. So, take as many classes as you can that are pretty much broad. Take English, take art, history, and then pretty much when you start finding your interest, like, oh, I really want to do history, start going towards that way, and you'll find what you really want, when you start doing that. Right. And so I would tell the first year college student, take as many classes as you can that has to do with a broad spectrum of subjects, and then from there narrow it down.
That's a good approach.
Yeah.
That's a good approach. Do you feel like TRIO is, clearly, like you said, it's available to a lot of people, but it also has its parameters.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's specifically guided for people like, you in that respect of, I know exactly what I want to do, exactly how to get there? That's another story.
I feel like TRIO can definitely help you out with anything that you really want to do, as in, like, say, for example, you just want to get your AA degree, but, you want additional help, you don't know how to get it. TRIO accepts those students as well.
Right on.
With anything that you want to do, I want to get my certificate in this, or I want to get my AA, or I want to get both an AA and a transfer,
Right.
There's,
I want it all.
how do you do that, So TRIO pretty much helps you with any educational path that you want to go into, It's not just transferring or this or that. Excellent. You can do a whole bunch of things.
Right on. Well, for you, it's transferring, and congratulations,
yes,
sir.
thank you.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
We'll be right back in a few minutes with more Peralta Matters.
Academic excellence on Peralta News.
We are on the second floor of the Tower building, and this is where TRIO is located. So if you come out of the elevators and you make your way to the right, you will find our offices down this corridor.
It takes a village to help a student succeed, and that is one of the things I was looking for in the community, since I did come from a very small high school. So when I transferred into college, I was like, it could be very overwhelming to come from that kind of background and then come into here where there are thousands of people on the Zoom all day, every day, and you're like, I don't know where I fit in here. And TRIO gave me the opportunity to fit in somewhere.
It's a wonderful program that provides first-generation students to college and low-income students and students with disabilities with transfer support services. In particular, here at Laney College, what we do is we have a counselor on staff who helps students with their educational plan and helping them to meet all the requirements to transfer to a CSU or a UC or a private school. Essentially, we provide intensive academic mentoring and counseling to help students reach their graduation and transfer and career goals.
It's not always easy to connect with other students on a commuter campus, right? Laney is a community college, so people are in, people are out, and this was a consistent family where I could come and get support and a little candy and some workshops, just the help that I needed to become a successful student. And 2 years later, I can say that. It's been a family and a home for me on campus.
Let's check out Trang's office. She's at 214 and she is our trio counselor.
I meet with students in our program and help them with a variety of pretty much help from creating an education plan to career exploration and also any issues that they have in mind at their time. A little bit of personal counseling as well.
I'm here, these are my goals, this is what I want to do, and it helps me connect to other people and help them. I've been able to encourage other students to succeed in their goals because I found my footing somewhere.
Please come visit us. We're in the tower, second floor. We have 3 offices, and we're always accepting applications. So even if we don't have any availability currently, please come and get on our wait list.
Trio will help you get to where you want to be. And Trio will hold you accountable to the goals that you set for yourself.
Thank you for watching Academic Excellence on Peralta News.
Welcome back to Peralta Matters. We are now joined by Dr. Herbert Kitchen, president of the Peralta Association of African American Affairs. Dr. Herbert, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, man. Let's talk first about what PA, as we affectionately know it as, does for the community.
Well, PA is an organization here at the Peralta Colleges. We started some 40 years ago in the mid-1970s as a need to help African American students, staff, and faculty. So what PA does is that we help students with scholarships. That's our main goal, is to bring in funds for scholarships to help students matriculate from Peralta to a four-year college.
So basically, in the world of achievement gap, especially for young males of color, PA's role is more than effective and more than instrumental in getting them through and actually achieving their 4-year or even a 2-year completion year.
Correct. One thing, PA recognizes that education is very important. And through Peralta's data and from the state's scorecard, we have seen that African American students do not do well.
Right.
So with that said, Peralta has worked very, very hard with the colleges and with the chancellor to develop programs that can target African American students to help them succeed while they're here at one of our colleges.
Talk a little bit about what PA is made up of. What group does PA consist of? How do we formulate the members of PA?
Well, as you mentioned, PA stands for Peralta Association for African American Affairs. So the majority of the members are African American. And we have college presidents, we have all types of administrators, faculty, and staff that consist of PA membership. To date, we have over 150 members that are part of PA.
So basically, I mean, we're talking about people who aren't just sitting on some pedestal or some perch looking down on the problems. These are people actually in the trenches working.
These are people who are in the trenches every day at the 4 colleges and here at the district as well. And these individuals are dedicated. Their goal is to help students succeed while they're here at Peralta.
Right. Talk a little bit about some of the students that have come through PA and what you've seen. Has it been a situation where without PA, the student would have not? Or with PA, the student has gone so far and so far beyond?
Well, we feel that PA has helped hundreds of students succeed. What PA does is we have annual scholarships that we give to 8 students, 2 students per college. And we've seen our students that have come through PA matriculate on to 4-year colleges, that are now have finished 4-year colleges and have succeeded in life. And we feel that PA and some of its members have been at the forefront to help them succeed.
Right. How do you think the interaction, the synergy between an organization that's connected to the colleges but a little bit removed and the actual, the other workers of college who aren't members of PA? How do you see that synergy working or that collection?
Well, we see things work collaboratively. And one thing about it, whether you're a member of PA or whether you aren't, the goal is student success.
There we go.
That's one thing about working here at Peralta. We see the big picture. And the big picture is our students, no matter age, race, ethnicity.
Right.
So what PA does, we are here to motivate and engage our students to succeed while they're here and give them the resources while they're here to succeed, and then once they leave us, to go out into the world of work or to go on to a four-year college.
Let's talk a little bit about, and you know, for those who don't know, they can always check out our YouTube page and see the, I guess it's the year-end celebration or the collaborative acknowledgement of the scholarship recipients as well as the members of PA and the community of Peralta. Talk a little bit about that.
Okay, each year we have our scholarship reception. We have over 100 plus students who apply for our scholarships, and only 8 students receive our scholarships. Each student receives a $500 scholarship to help them while they're still at our college and or in the fall where they are transferring to. This year's event will be on Friday, May 1st, and it will be here at the district office in the atrium. All the 4 college presidents will be here. The chancellor will give remarks, and then we hear from the students. That's what is really touching about our reception, is that we hear directly from our students and how PA has touched their lives, how PA has made a difference in their lives, how PA has helped them throughout their college journey. So those are the major aspects of this event, is that we celebrate students and we also celebrate ourselves.
That's right.
Because we want to ensure that our members know that the work that they do day in, day out, week after week, month after month, and in some cases, years after years, because we have some PA members who have been here at Peralta since the 1970s.
Wow.
And they're still working to ensure that students are successful. But our main event, again, May 1st, really touts what PA is and what PA does.
What would you say, personally, your affiliation, your work over the years has been through PA and how effective it is at bridging this achievement gap we're talking about?
The achievement gap here at Peralta, we hope that through PA's efforts, we hope that through engaging with the colleges, we hope that with engaging with this chancellor and the next chancellor that will be coming, that we can establish programs that will specifically target the achievement gap. Programs such as the MAP program up at Merritt College, the Maximum Achievement Program, programs like UBACA, and also we've seen and stats indicate that learning communities help students learn. So my personal hope and goal is that come fall semester 2015, that Peralta will have these programs in the pipeline so that we can look at how we can help students achieve, and also to kind of put a dent into Peralta's achievement gap.
Yeah. Appreciate your work, Doc. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks so much, Jay.
All right. We'll be right back with more Peralta Matters.
All aboard!
Welcome back to Peralta Matters. I want to thank all of our guests for coming on. And for more information on any of the programs here at Peralta, please visit us at peralta.edu. Until the next time, do something that matters.
Peralta TV, programs that matter.